everybody. Welcome to All That Matters and More. Ikamala Mututu.
And I'm Komiki, and welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. But before Dudu and I dive right into it, we just wanted to give you guys a quick disclaimer and to let you know that the content we will be providing is for educational, informative, and entertainment purposes.
Yes, guys, that the information, opinions, as well as recommendations provided by us should not be considered as medical or professional advice. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, my girl?
I mean, I'm just okay. Hey, I'm just taking it slowly.
Also, let the rain, dude. Like, yo, pula AI rudely this week, it's literally been the pits. I mean, it's even raining now, but hey.
Yeah, I mean, I love rain. I think it's just like sort of the perfect kind of weather. I think, I don't know, just, gloomy weather makes me, I don't know, it just makes me feel, it just lifts me up a bit, because you get to be home. Not those feels, but you just get to be home and in your peace and in your center.
Yeah, I hear
And I think
you.
I just focus better.
You think
Honestly,
so?
I focus better.
Yeah, I also think maybe I think it is good that it was raining. Obviously, it needed to cool down a little bit because it is hot. But also, with this weather, we'll never know, dude. It will probably be even more hot once it's done raining.
Yeah, because on my way here, it seemed like this area was very hot.
Yeah.
But then when you now it's like raining. Hey, the weather thing is very much crazy. Very much.
And down. Yeah, but how are you feeling about the year's nearly over? I mean, how many days do we even count? Because literally it's like tomorrow, basically, guys.
Yeah,
so
waiting.
So yeah, man, I just obviously wanted to talk about today specifically, like just mental checks. What is the importance of mental checks, and just like what have you done differently this year, and what could you do better next year? Because I think obviously it is important for us to take accountability of our mental health, and just for us to do check-ins and just make sure that we are good and we're healthy. Sometimes you don't need somebody to remind you if you're okay, but it's also good to remind yourself as well. It's also good for you to take that first step and the first initiative to actually say, I'm going to try get help, or I'm going to try do better in this aspect of my life in order for my mental health to be better. And if your mental health is good, honey, then
everything just quickly flows.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like why you touching on and a lot of things are happening, a lot of changes, new resolutions. Yes, I've been guys. Mama So I mean it's honestly a good conversation to have. And I mean, literally Matters and More has done sort of like a 180, which I'm so happy comparing to when we started in the beginning of the year and to where we are now. I couldn't be prouder. And just honestly, thank you to the people at home for honestly, taking the time to watch our videos and sharing and posting on your WhatsApp and on your Instagrams. So I 100% appreciate it. We've come far. We have. And thank you to Maz.
Yeah, Maz, you've actually been
Maz.
really spectacular. You see what I did there? I didn't just say amazing or great. I said spectacular.
But just so for you, what would you say what is it? What would you change looking at how your year as an individual has been like?
What would I change? I think I would change definitely like the fear of unknown and just going for things now. And I'm putting my all and my best in what I'm doing now. If you're afraid, or I think fear has, I don't know, fear actually is a very bad thing. I've realized this year. And a lot of people have been like, oh, but we're afraid to do this. Or they don't say it, but it's like, why are you afraid? So I think diving in, even though things are tough, just diving in and doing whatever it is that you've decided that you want to respond to as a responsibility, even with Matters and More next year. This would be then my personal goal, is just to dive in a lot more, for us to just stop being really fearful, but to put ourselves out there, a lot more, and to not be afraid of what the outcome will be. What's the worst thing that could honestly happen?
Right.
And that's one thing that I ask myself, okay, cool. Even if you were to ask something, okay, cool. If someone says no, they said no, you move on, But what if they do say yes?
You never know. Hey,
that's the thing. So I think definitely, and also just to stop stressing so much, and to stop worrying so much, because then I will worry, and then realize that I've spent majority of my time worrying, when in actual fact I could have just been in the moment, enjoyed the moment, dived in. So definitely just stop worrying about the fear of the unknown. Stop worrying about the unknown. Actually, stop worrying in general and just kind of do what I need to do at that given moment in time.
I don't know. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome and in detail.
What about you, my girl?
Oh, Charlie. Mini list jam, guys. Mini list jam ilong. Hingaga. Oh, zingaga. But, you know, I think one thing I can say is Dilodi change. So what would I look forward to? I think my attitude. I don't want to say my attitude regarding how I function within relationships. And just sort of like my work ethic as well.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm one thing where if it's time to work, I will 100% work and give it my all.
Yeah.
But then it's those times of lacking consistency.
I hear you.
So for me, that's definitely one. Well, that's two. And yeah, I think just, you know, going for it. Go, sana.
Goduga.
Sana.
Don't be afraid, Sana. Just do the thing, Sana.
And I think that's just where I am now. But I think that's pretty much the three, like my attitude.
Yeah.
My attitude within relationships as well with people, and just sort of being consistent regarding my work ethic.
Yeah.
And just literally just do it. And just doing it.
Just do it.
Just doing it. You know, so just doing it. And I'm very much excited for 2023.
Yeah, no, definitely. Me too. And I also think with the mental check, what's so important right now, and one thing that you and I kind of disagreed a little bit on was the whole COVID thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think now everything is like seemingly going back to normal. You know, so I think also, guys, for a big mental check would be just to obviously be careful that you're not easily influenced. You know, you're not surrounded by the wrong people. You're not feeding your mind with negative thought, negative energy, but you're also just trying to check in to be like, am I doing okay today or not? You know, what can I do better? You know? And, you know, recently I actually saw this really cool thing, but I don't know where I saw it. I don't know if it is in typo. Oh, what? It's like a diary or it's a journal, right? So then the diary actually asks you, like, how are you feeling today?
Yeah. That's a pretty dope one.
And then you actually have to say, okay, so then it's like a check-in every day. But I can't remember exactly where I saw, but I think it's typo. So I'll definitely double check. And then we'll obviously tell our viewers, whoever's interested, to actually go purchase the diary, you know?
Yeah, just to have sort of, you know, one thing we always touch on about journals, but journals just sort of like, it's sort of you're able to reflect back.
Yeah.
And it's sort of what's the word? Like self-introspection. So that's one thing I like about it. Uguti, you could be Uguti 2 months ago, you were in a particular place, and you're in a totally, completely different place.
Thank you.
And I think it's just those times where you check in and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you. You know, this was me then, this was me now. And even if now you're going through a bad time, but you can always look back at the good times that you have and have that as a motivator. Depending on what motivates you, just have that as a motivator. And going back on the COVID thing, you know, you and I think are going to do, I think, I'm not sure if things have went back to normal, honestly. But one thing I can say that's very big that came from that is that people are so much aware.
Oh my God!
I think I honestly, people are so much aware of mental health and checking in and the importance of therapy. You get what I'm saying? And I think last on our episode with Hakeem, we were having a conversation that, you know, we say women, but not a lot of women do. But now we're looking at men and a lot of men are attending therapy.
Yeah.
And a lot of men are showing how they're feeling. You know, so for me, that's like a kudos. That's a kudos. And you're literally starting to hear that a lot of artists are also going through therapy. I think DJ Zinhle touched on her show when she was on the phone with her therapist. And for me, that was an eye-opener because she's showing the viewers a part of herself and eventually her viewers in sort of a way. She's an influencer, influencing people to say therapy is normal.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's okay.
And it's okay. And you can just literally assess your feelings and analyze your feelings and just go about things and go about life.
And you know, I actually like the fact that you said like obviously she's a celebrity. She's in the music industry, but also, guys, a lot of sports, like athletic people are also
Oh, that's a
really about
mandate. I
that.
think that's
Like they really, and you know what I love? One thing about it specifically, Naomi Osaka. I think she's absolutely so amazing. I think with her, you know, I was kind of seeing everybody like they're like, yeah, they're going to therapy, they do sports or whatever. But I think it actually like took me a bit back because she actually put her foot down and she's like, my mental health comes first, you know,
yeah.
and I don't think I'm gonna compromise myself in order for it to now go astray, you know. Because I mean, I can only I think in every aspect in our life, whether you're a celebrity, whether you're an ordinary person, whether you're an artist, like you have to stay focused
You
at
need
some
to
point
stay.
in time, you know.
Because I think mental toughness is really big, guys,
Yeah,
and
it
a lot of
is.
us don't have that. But what athletes do, no I don't want to say no human being can, but the mental work and the mental frame that they have is incomparable. So for them to be high functioning and keeping the same mentality and the same energy throughout is very big. My fault. So I just wanted to say, touching on you mentioning about Naomi, there's a soccer player. I know his face. I don't know his name. And he was basically, I wish we could just have the video. I'm going to ask Mess to put up the video, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just quickly going to paraphrase. But he was just saying that I think one of the journalists had asked him a question, and he just in that sentence, he just reassured himself to the people, like, never underestimate me. If I say I'm doing something, I'm going to 100% do it. And I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to like dilly-dally, but never underestimate me with the questions you ask, because initially the power that you have in yourself, you can do so much more if you self-believe and you have self-control and you have self-love and mentally you are awake.
Yeah. I actually like that a lot, you know. So I think it's definitely like a mental illness, obviously, and a mental check-in, guys. You always have to make sure as well that you are mentally tough at that point in time. I think sometimes it's pointless for me to be like, okay, I did a check-in, but what are you doing better to acquire that mental toughness? I actually like that you touched on that, you know. And yeah, what would you say then? What would you do differently next year, or what would you enhance? And then in terms of like mental check-in, what advice would you give, or what would you say somebody can do? I say buy that book, guys. I don't even know where you're gonna find that journal. Buy that journal where you do check-ins every day, where you find yourself saying, how am I feeling? You know, how could I do better today? And then just take, and then also what do you say, guys, look back on good days and bad days. Try compare it to the moment that you are in now, and then just kind of see if it's going to motivate you or if there's something that you need to work on.
Yeah. I think for me, meditation. I think if there's something I want to focus on, would definitely be meditation. Because I don't know, I'm very easily angered. And I'm very quick at cutting people off. So I think that's a form of anger. So I'm just like, I need to just literally sit down and calm myself, and necessarily that find a balance between myself and everything else that's happening around me and things that are happening within me. So for me, that's definitely one thing I do want to tap into next year. Not even next year, like start now, guys. You can definitely start now.
Actually,
so that's something I definitely want to tap into, to meditate. Just give myself time, switch everything off, just be alone in solemn silence.
Nice.
And yourself?
I think to manage my stress a lot more. And the reason, and I guess just managing things a lot better. And a lot more. I think one thing that I've also realized this year is that things can happen at any given moment in time. So I think just to be a lot more flexible and to be ready for whatever's coming my way. That way I'm able to manage it. And I think that will actually help me well with my mental check-in, to not feel overwhelmed and not feel anxious, you know, and not feel like everything is like happening at once, especially when one bad thing happens and then you feel like it's a domino effect. So then I feel as if I have a handle on managing everything, then even if something happens, then it's not so bad and I don't feel so overwhelmed. So kind of to be good, stay afloat, focus on whatever it is that I need to focus in, dive into whatever it is I need to dive into. And then, take accountability for my mental health next year and make sure that I'm consistent. Consistency. I love that word.
That's key. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
And so what would you say now, like to the viewers at home, like the three go-to things that you do to mentally check in?
I think accountability is definitely one. Check in, but actually checking in. Because it's pointless for me now to say to you, dude, I'm going to check in tomorrow. But do I really check in? So I think accountability, check in whenever I need to check in. And then I think the last one, I'm going to take your word, go consistency. Be consistent about my mental health. If I see that something is wrong and I know that I need to fix it, I need to fix it. I can't just think that I fixed it today and then it's gone. And then next week I start to panic and it's like, but what did I do next week? Somebody tell me what to do. But no, if I'm maybe consistent, then things won't be so bad, And then what would be your three?
My three. I think obviously, how do I mentally check in with myself? I think just talking, and talking in the sense of you not shouting or you're not like getting irritated, but just literally having a calming conversation with, like what Hakeem said. Sometimes you might think you beefing with someone, but that person ain't beefing with you, child. So just having those conversations where you become self-aware, actually I'm harboring this, but probably that individual doesn't know. So let's just have a conversation about it and line it out. I think that's the biggest thing, because the energies that we keep inside sort of like hinder us,
true.
Hinder the growth that we're supposed to go through or experience. So I think that, and the second one, I talk a lot. The second one would be meditation.
Yes.
I tried. I am trying meditation now, and it's honestly, I mean, it's too early to be like, oh, I can see the results, but I just start feeling good about myself.
That's good.
Just start feeling good about myself. And then the third one, I'm not gonna say journaling, but journaling that's a key. Even if you're not mentally checking in, that's just something you should always do. And then the third one would be finding an outlet. You get what I'm saying? Like getting a hobby. Because sometimes when you do something that you really enjoy, that can change your whole mood around.
Actually, yeah.
So just find something that not even if it's not something you're good at, but into ngayizama, and then slowly but surely your energy will open up.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are mine.
All right, girl.
Yeah. So looking back this year, right?
Yes.
Just what are the traits that you've picked up or characteristics within you that you picked up and you kind of feel like, actually, probably this is sort of toxic, or maybe this is hindering my progress.
Yeah.
Could be work related, relationship related, financially, and so forth.
I think in general, I stress a lot. So with me stressing a lot, I over internalize things. Like I internalize every single thing. And I think it's bad because obviously now I'm starting to feel the physical effects. So in terms of a mental check as well, just to bring that in there, how am I doing with regards to that? Yeah, no, I'm doing badly. Like I'm not even going to beat around the bush or sugarcoat it. Yeah, I could do better in that aspect, Yeah. So definitely like stress and internalizing things, like that's just the one thing that is a no going forward next year. Yeah.
For me, I'd say being short-tempered. I think one thing with my anger is that you won't see it. You'll just feel the wrath of it, because I don't like talking. I talk too much, but when things I don't like talking too much, you'll just see from me.
Yeah.
Which is very, very bad. I think my previous manager at G-Star was like, dude, hi son. No, man, you can't be. And it's something that I need to learn to be like, actually, let me calm down my anger. And I know it's a coping mechanism, but it's just like, just find other means for it. And then another thing, one of the bad, because that's my worst. One of the one of the bad traits would be, besides that one, oh, I think that's like pretty much the worst. I think being impatient. I'm very impatient. I am very, when I want things to happen, I want things to happen now. So I think I need to work on that. And I know like Maz probably feels it sometimes, and I feel like he's not doing something, and I'm like, so
Yeah.
I think just, patience and just working on my anger and how I deal with it. What is a coping mechanism is really not a good mechanism, but just figuring out ways to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's one. So yeah.
And then in terms of a mental check, like how would you say that you've been doing good in that aspect this year, or?
Not this year. I think now.
Yeah.
I don't know, but lately there's just sort of a calm.
That's good.
And I think it's obviously the changes that I've made. I've made a lot of changes this year,
Yeah.
So I think it's just sort of being a calm. I think I just made my biggest change, and there's just a sense of calmness.
Wow.
And I think I'm so glad to be in that presence. But yeah, I think I'm just really calm. I get very upset, but I'm able to control my anger to say, you know what, just choose your battles. This one is really not worth it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just figure out what works and figure out what doesn't work, but don't put all your energy into that, So I think that's that. And for you?
I think mainly for me, I'm not gonna lie, maybe the checking in. Could I do better? Yes. But do I sometimes check in? I think I only usually check in when I feel like the negative emotions are too much.
Yeah.
That's when I'm just like, okay, now I need to like take a pause and just kind of gather, why am I feeling this way, or why am I feeling that way, or why do I now seem snappier than usual?
Yeah.
Then that's when I need to be like, okay, no, what's like really going on? And then I ask myself what has been going on lately. Sometimes it's something maybe in the past that has come up, or something that I just kind of need to deal with again. Then I just deal with it then, and then I try to identify, or rather, identify the negative emotion and feeling, and then just kind of take it from there, and then just prevent it from not happening again. But could I do better? 110%. Like that one, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you do better?
I think what I could do better is sometimes it's like how certain things feel. So avoiding it, but avoiding it in a healthy way. And like you said, it's pointless for you sometimes to put all your emotions into something when it's just going to harbor more anger, hurt, frustration. So I think just being aware and cautious to be like, okay, no, this is not really worth my energy, and letting things go.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Honestly,
one. Letting things go.
Yeah. So yeah, I think for a mental check, that's what like I would do. But what would like the viewers? We need to obviously give them like a few tips. Because we're good at that,
Yeah, I think obviously with people, we all check in very differently.
Yeah.
Sort of like what works for me wouldn't necessarily work for you. And regarding our issues as well, but just primarily for me, just to check in, I'm going to go back to what Mr. Hakeem Anderson said. You might think you're having a problem with someone, but that's all in your head. So I think just looking at now, and it's just always having those conversations, those very uncomfortable conversations, to say, honestly, let's just sit down and talk. And I think probably that's what's creating a calm, because you already know the situation, you've analyzed the situation, and it's just up to you to be like, I don't like feeling this way, or as if there's any animosity.
Yeah.
So I think just clearing up those relationships for me, whether they good, significant or insignificant, I think it just kind of makes you feel better. And then just to meditation.
Yeah.
I think I touched on that. I've just started, so we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'm not grumpy next year. So it would be that. And yeah, I mean, we've always touched on journaling. But despite that, I think just finding an outlet for yourself, to like a hobby, something you like, something that intrigues you, and preferably something that could also give you money. Money makes everybody happy. So
Ditu, wow. Okay. Okay, and yeah, no, I think you wrapped it up very beautifully. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty much gonna say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know, just journaling, writing down your feelings. Like we've mentioned, we've touched on this. I think that's one thing that's important to also
Yeah.
look back and say, okay, I was doing well when this was happening. Maybe I need to do that again. Or why am I doing so bad at this specific point in my life? Or I've seen when this happens, I feel some type of way. So it's just about reflecting, doing deep reflections, not worrying about also your insecurities as well, because sometimes that's one thing that I've picked up. You may feel insecure about a specific thing, lash out at someone else. It's not that person's problem.
Yeah.
It's within you. So if you can identify that and fix that within yourself, then it just makes things so much more easier, you know? But just being aware, being mindful of thyself,
Yeah.
and then being aware and mindful of other people as well, because that also is important.
No, that one is very, very important.
Yeah.
And yes, guys, if you'd like to email us or have a chat, you can definitely email at imatterandmore@gmail.com.
Yes, guys, and no pressure at all. But when you get time, just like and subscribe at our YouTube channel, All That Matters and More, as well as on Instagram, Matters and More.
And yes, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. Like you guys never. Hi, but guys. In numbers. Subscribe button. Like click that notification bell.
Only if you want to, though, as well, you know. No pressure.